Today we're going to create a picture that would help us work with the ideas of vanishing point to create perspective or depth in our picture. And here's an example of vanishing point. All the elements, the road, the railroad tracks, the fence, the power lines, even the house, all have lines that go back to one single vanishing point. Let's take this back to the beginning and start over. In this next exercise, we're going to develop our ideas of vanishing point and perspective. And we'll use some of our tools we've used already. So let's begin. I'll start by making just a gentle sky for a background, and we'll make some hills, a road, and we'll add some other things that go along with that road to emphasize technique to develop vanishing point. So first, our sky. Using the straight line tool, I'll use light blue, and I want our horizon to be pretty high, about a third up, so I'll just click on the edge, draw up, and I'll pour in our paint. And for the bottom, we'll create a straight line across with brown. Hold the shift key to make it straight, and you should know how to do this already. I want to create a condition where the background is darker and our foreground is lighter, so I'll use brown here and this sand color here. I think we have enough to create our gradient, so we'll use the resize button as we've done before. I'd like to put in a mountain range just to give our ground some more contrast. It's not required, but it's fun. So we'll make brown our background color, and we'll use the freeform selection tool. I'll start just below the horizon, go up and gentle background, bring it down for where the road is going to be. There we have some contrast, and I'll press delete, and that will replace that brown. Oh, excellent. It's a good beginning. Now to make our road, we'll use a line drawing tool in black, and I'll choose about the smallest line I want to see go over the horizon. If we use the same point where we start our line for both, then we should be able to make this vanish. I do want this to be centered, so I'm noticing the select tool for the entire screen, the select marker here. That'll be one of my indicators that is the center. Another line, clicking right on the original origin and about the equal distance on the other side. I can also tell if it's equal by the dashed lines, and it looks like the horizon at the top is not, so I'm just going to go by the irregular pattern of the road, the line, this edge here, to see where the center is, the center of this triangle. I'll fill this in with black, and because it's a gradient I can't just use the paint bucket, so I'm going to make my line thicker. I'll paste my line by clicking away, then I'll make a new line that's thicker. So I'll start from the bottom, just so that when I use my tool, my select tool, I'll have a little bit of a margin to work in. So all the way up. So our goal here is to emphasize the technique of vanishing point. The idea is as you look to the horizon, anything that you look at that's uniform in size that goes to that horizon will gradually get narrower and narrower. We use a word called linear to describe that kind of change, which means it's predictable and it's at the same ratio or the same rate. So we can use the triangle to do that. And our road, if we were to look at a highway, we've seen this before, highways that are straight at least, will go straight down and straight across, and they'll vanish. So press delete, and I just about have my road. A little paintbrush here to fill in, and it's done. I'll get my zoom back to normal, and then we'll add the yellow line, or the white line in this case. So I'm going to use a line drawing tool, and I'll choose the smallest size first. I don't have to go all the way to the top because I know that my line is going to be fading away, farther away. I'm going to make this yellow, or rather white. Color number 1 needs to become white. So that's my line the farthest away. Now I also know that this line is linear as well. It will get bigger. So I'm going to add another line just like it right beside it. I'll click away to flatten that one, and clicking on the same point or just below the same point, maybe a third down, I'll add another line off to the side, off to one side, and I'll add another in the same spot. Okay, good enough. Now we know that white lines down the center of the road typically are not solid, so we'll need to break that up. It's easiest to go to the biggest size, make the primary color black, and I can draw a line across and basically cut out sections that I want to blacken in. So these will become my lines on the road. So right now I'm looking at every step or every junction where the line width has changed, and I'm just cutting them off. It seems to be somewhat uniform, so I'll use that. There, I have my road with my lines in place. Now I think I'll add some more things like railroad tracks that run along beside the road. I'll start with a line drawing tool, and once again I'll use the finest line first, and I'll run it from my horizon to the foreground. Line drawing tool, and the railroad tracks run parallel to the road, so I will make them parallel to the road. I think I'll use a finer line for this. There we are. And needs to come together. So notice how even though I say parallel, I'm still using the same vanishing point, because as they reach the horizon it's hard to determine the space or the width it is apart from the road. So there's my railroad track, one of them, and I'll place another one right beside it from the same spot. Okay, so I have my railroad tracks in place. As I get closer though, I'm going to make my railroad tracks bigger, so I'll add another line, and as I've done before, I'll just draw over the top of this line since this is not very wide and I don't have to separate or split them. And I'll make where they begin or end a little bit irregular. In other words, I'm not lining them up exactly. Make it a little bit bigger, and I think that should be good enough for railroad tracks. Okay. Now cross pieces need to go in there. As you're looking at the distance, even though these angles for the railroad tracks themselves go off at angles, the railroad ties that we would see stay right here. So we're going to place them. I'll use a dark brown, and I'll use a line drawing tool to place in most of them. Decide what my largest size is. I'm going to put them right over the top of these brown lines. I just need the brown or the black lines as a marker. So they'll go across here. I'll make sure that my color 1, they are my color 1, and I'll continue. I'm going to put them pretty generous spacing because I want them at the distance to not require so much. Now if I really wanted to worry about the edges, I would also put a third and fourth line down here to make sure that the edges are linear, or that they get narrower. So there's my railroad tracks as they go, and notice I'm taking care to make them all level. Okay, that looks like it's done. So I think we're done.